Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, it's been 7 years now since Obama ordered his Fed chairman to lower the savings rate from 5% to less than a quarter percent. With a false narrative, it would spur economic growth and jobs. Everyone would have an opportunity in this economy. That's what he said. But what it spurred was a front loading of the biggest fake, unsustainable stock market rally of 200%. That's what it spurred. Now, most people did not participate in that rally because people got out of their 401k in 2009 and they said, just get me out. I want nothing but fixed income. And they got killed because with low interest rates, fixed incomes get murdered. You got to know what you're doing. If you're going to really retire, you got to be associated with the stock market. That's why you come to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. I'm here to help you. I'm tired, and you should be tired, of listening to these financial shows like CNBC where they're all geniuses and they're always wrong. Look, stop worrying about the price to book and the price to sales and all the stuff they tell you think you need to know. You don't need to know any of that. Anybody can make money in the stock market using charts. It's about money flow. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Everybody was asking me, how did I know to short Ford when it was November? And it was when Aunt B was telling us everything was fine. Well, what people didn't know is Aunt B was lying to us. Because when she was raising the rates, machinery sales were down 5.6%, computers were down 8.7%, communication equipment sales down 21%. I took a look at our chart and I saw that institutions were pulling money out of Ford. So we said, let's short Ford. And we did that in November, on November 10th, because my charts told me there was a big sell signal, and we took advantage of it. And you know that stock Ford has now dropped 17%. That's the return my gang has now, 17%. Don't follow any of the jibber jabber from CNBC or the Fed. Follow me, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, many people left the stock market after the crash, and here's why.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
And that's still going on. That's your planner. They don't represent you. They represent themselves, your money manager. But you have to make a change. You can't change them. You make the change. Join my gang, philsgang.com, so that we can take care of you. philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Time is the one thing that we want more of as a single parent. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey.
El que Sayú no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow, they pretty much have saved us.
They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. You know, everybody, the hot stocks Apple or Google, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What people don't understand is every stock is the same. If the institutions buy it, it goes up. If they don't, it goes down. It doesn't matter the name. That's why we use charts to identify money in, money out. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. We're hitting a new year, and you should, at the same time, come in with a new attitude, a new philosophy that you're going to make money when the stock market goes down. That's right. This is the third bubble, and you don't think it's going to crash? The first bubble did. the .com, the second bubble, the housing and financial con. Why do you think the third bubble, which is twice as big as the two previous bubbles, is any different? It's not different. Matter of fact, it's worse. It's going to go down faster. The stock market is going to go down 50%. You're going to lose 50% of the money you have in the stock market. You're going to lose 45% of the equity you have in your home. You're going to lose 30% of the money you have in your savings. Yes, you are. Trust me. Join my gang, Phil's gang, so that we can show you how to benefit, how to profit. But you can't just sit there and own a stock. You got to learn how to short the market. Join my gang. Learn how to short. philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Time is the one thing that we want more of. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey. They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. Considering acting the information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for it. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
Markets in rally mode from that cocktail of stimulus measures announced in Europe yesterday.
Our top trade this hour, the great bounce back. Stocks surging as a big week looms for your money. As we look at the U.S. economy, well, first of all, we think global growth will be about 3%. U.S. economy 2 to 2.5%. Right now, you have an unemployment rate at 4.9. We think goes down to 4.6. Average hourly earnings are going higher.
Unbelievable. Welcome to Phil's Gang. Coast to coast around the country, off the Wall Street Radio Network. My God, things have changed around. Everything's wonderful again. I have to get in the mood. Yeah, that's what they should be playing with, that kind of announcement. Don't you agree? Here, let's try it.
Markets in rally mode from that cocktail of stimulus measures announced in Europe yesterday.
Okay, hit it.
With the sound of music.
Oh my God. Unbelievable, these people. Thank God we just use our charts. If you listen to the fundamentals, if you listen to these people, you're never going to make any money. Well, you know that. God. Last night I was watching the debates and I'm saying to myself, they started with this terrorism. Everybody's talking about terrorism. Remember this?
Mr. Trump, let me start with you. Last night you told CNN, quote, Islam hates us. Did you mean all 1.6 billion Muslims?
I mean a lot of them.
Then Rubio.
I'm not interested in being politically correct. I'm interested in being correct. And in order to be correct on this issue, here's the bottom line.
Oh, my God. Here's what these guys don't get. They have, our Congress has done more damage to the American people, to the financial system, than ISIS or any other radical group, Al-Qaeda, anybody. Put them all together. They could do together. Our Congress done more damage to the American people, to our financial system. It's unbelievable. Have you looked at your interest rate on your savings account lately? ISIS didn't do this to us. The Taliban didn't do this to us. 0.6%. Are you nuts? That's $6 of interest annually for each $1,000 deposit. That's our Congress. That's our Federal Reserve. That's our donor party who runs it all. They've done more damage. What are they talking about with this? The problem with the Muslims, my God, the terrorism. And then we had that idiot, our Attorney General, right after those two nuts went out there, the erratic, the crazy, I can't think of their names now, but the Muslims, they were, I can't think of their names now, but anyway, San Bernardino, California, and they murdered all these people. And Loretta Lynch comes out and says, boy, if you talk bad about them, we're going to come after you. We're going to arrest you. We're going to arrest you and charge you if you talk bad about Muslims. Really? I mean, why don't we arrest and charge Congress? Why don't we arrest and charge the Federal Reserve? They've done more damage. Hey, I feel terrible. 14 people got killed. But how about the 300 million people in this country? How about the 95% of all the working force, 95% of our workforce making $50,000 a year, working paycheck to paycheck? That's ridiculous. Paycheck to paycheck. That's nuts. So we keep talking about these extremists. This is crazy. I don't get it. You know, this shows how stupid we're getting. This is what the conversation's about. Aren't we learning the donor party, the 1 percentile, they're controlling the private company called the Federal Reserve that's no more federal than the Federal Express? Put rates near zero. That has caused more damage, especially to retirees and savers. More damage to America, as I said, than all the Taliban and ISIS combined. What are you, nuts? We've been lied to by the Federal Reserve for 7 years. They said zero rates would stimulate spending. Oh, really? Just like quantitative easing. Another big lie. And that's why the market's up 201 points today. Because Europe, they entered quantitative easing again. We'll get into that in a moment, that big lie. This is crazy. We've been lied to for 7 years. They said zero rates would stimulate spending. That was a lie. Investment, jobs, productivity, that's what raises our standard of living. Jobs, savings, that stimulates spending, not zero interest rates. Haven't we seen that over 7 years? We're growing at less than 2% a year? How much you think about this? Raw money. Or let's think about money as raw material, I should say. Think of money as raw material. Raw material for the hedge funds, who are owned by the elitists of the donor class. So the dollars, money, is raw material for the hedge fund. Just like glass, aluminum, leather, plastic, rubber is raw material for a car maker like Ford or GM. But Ford or GM has to pay for the raw material. Think about this. The hedge funds, the donor party who owns the hedge funds, the hedge fund managers, who also own the Oval Office, who also own Congress, who also own the Federal Reserve, they get their raw material free. They get their raw material for free. And the raw material is their money. They get it for free. The only industry in the world who gets raw material free. They have no cost to the material. Think about this. That's what money is. It's raw material for Wall Street, for the hedge funds. No other industry on the face of the earth gets its raw material for free. What margins do they make? My God. No wonder they fight over the houses in the Hamptons. There's not enough of them out there. And in Aspen. Free raw material? My God. Bernanke, Yellen, said it would be Only free until the unemployment rate hits 6.5%. Remember that? Excuse me. That was their target, 6.5%. It'd only be free until they hit their target. Wait a minute. We hit 5%, and they ignored their own target. I remember that. So what the hell's going on here? Shouldn't they be raising the interest rates? And when they finally did, big deal, quarter percent after they did all the damage, more damage than any terrorist group that's done to us. The big Wall Street hedge funds and banks get their raw material, their money, free from you and me. That hard-earned money that we put into our checking and savings account every day that's in the banks all across this country. It's all free. It's all free to them. Have you looked at your interest rate? 0.6%. That's $6 of interest annually for each $1,000 on deposit. And you think that the terrorists have done more damage to us? Are you nuts? We'll be right back after this break.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, my name is Phil Grande, philsgang.com. I'm going to tell you something about your 401k that you don't know. You know the 401k is a tax code? That's what it is. Here's how it worked. In the 80s, you had pension funds, but they decided to give their CEOs a benefit on top of the pension. It was called 401k. That was to shelter their income. That way they could keep the CEOs because it was very competitive. But when all the jobs were shipped overseas, they no longer could keep pension funds. Too expensive. So they shifted all their employees to a 401k, duping you thinking it was a good deal. But what they did is they charged hidden fees, which amount to about $250 billion a day, that they gave to lobbyists to go to Washington to make sure that this 401k would never be transparent. Here's what came of it.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
That's right. So join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, my name is Phil Grande, philsgang.com. I'm going to tell you something about your 401k that you don't know. You know the 401k is a tax code? That's what it is. Here's how it worked. In the 80s, you had pension funds, but they decided to give their CEOs a benefit on top of the pension. It was called 401k. That was to shelter their income. That way they could keep the CEOs because it was very competitive. But when all the jobs were shipped overseas, they no longer could keep pension funds. Too expensive. So they shifted all their employees to a 401k, duping you thinking it was a good deal. But what they did is they charged hidden fees, which amount to about $250 billion a day, that they gave to lobbyists to go to Washington to make sure that this 401k would never be transparent. Here's what came of it.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
That's right. So join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Be sure to watch the Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grande, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on various devices like smartphones, tablets, your computer, and more. Get free access to the Phil's Gang Show right in your hands at home or on the go. Simply go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com and click on the Listen Live link. And we'll see you on the charts.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Do you ever notice they always tell you to buy, but they never tell you to sell? They never tell you to sell. Well, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you understand. When you buy a stock, and if all you do is buy, and you never sell short to make money where they're going down, you have to be so good. That means you got to buy the companies that are always going up. Nobody's that good. Nobody could possibly be that good. You got to make money just like you make money when you buy a stock. You got to make money when a stock goes down. That's how you even the playing field. That's how professionals make money. They make money going up and make money going down. But they don't tell you that. They just want you to try to make money going up. They don't want you to make money going down because they make that money on you. Join my gang, Phil's Gang. Learn how to short stocks at philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
AMVA, and I've lost over 30K on it, but it had excellent earnings the last several quarters, and if they make the cameras and drone equipment, I don't know why it's so weak these days.
It's so weak these days because you don't pay attention to what they make. You don't care about their earnings. The problem is the institutions are pulling their money out, and that's all you need to know, and that's what we identify in the chart, and that's why I become a Phil's Gang member.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, my name is Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know we're going to have not only a stock market crash in 2016, but a housing crash in 2016. Don't you like how they tell us the housing's in recovery and the market's in recovery and the economy's in recovery when it's not? It's in a bubble. Take housing. They loaned to a Wall Street firm called Blackstone. $7 billion. They buy 41,000 houses to go rent. Are you nuts? When they can't collect the rents anymore, those houses are going on the market and going to depress the real estate business by 30 or 40%. It's the same thing with stocks. They loan people money 600% more than they ever did before to buy stocks. That's all debt. And when the market goes down, they're going to have to dump those stocks to pay back that debt. And boy, will the market drop. Join my gang. Learn how to short. philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
One of the biggest problems the banks are facing, including Barclays, is low interest rates at this point. That's really putting downward pressure on profitability. This is not going to make the bank situation any stronger or better.
Yeah, we really feel sorry for the banks. Yeah, low interest rates. They're really getting killed, just like the hedge funds. What are you, nuts? We'll talk about that in a moment, too. But first, let's go to Stock Corner.
Stock Corner is brought to you by the Phil's Gang video channel. Go to philsgang.com, click on the video channel graphic, and check out Phil's free videos on the market, economy, and current events.
And remember, go to my site, philsgang.com. Not only sign up for the gang, but also to get your book, Walter's book, Walter's Way. Terrific book. And remember what I told you, everybody who buys this book, all the money is split between the Vera and Walter Share Family Foundation and St. Jude. What a terrific, terrific, generous thing for Walter to do. A wonderful book. So please, we'll talk a little bit more about the book. But you go directly to my site, philsgang.com. It's right there on the home page. Or you can go to waltersway.org. Okay, that's an easy way to get it. We'll talk a little bit more about Walter in a moment. But what a wonderful book. And remember, all the proceeds, there's no profit on this, goes to St. Jude and goes to the Vera and Walter Share Family Foundation. Okay. Let me, I just got to, let's get these stocks done, and then we're going to go over this nonsense, especially this QE. The market's up 207 points because of quantitative easing, because they came out and talked about quantitative easing in Europe. We've been through this quantitative easing for how many years? 7 years. Nothing's worked. Also, don't you remember that it was Bernanke who did paper. Did a study when he was Greenspan's assistant for 5 years. He went and lived in Japan. He did a whole study on quantitative easing. He came back and said, it's ridiculous. It doesn't work. And then what does he do? Becomes the Fed chairman. He is ordered by the donor class, the donors, the people who buy the president, buy the Congress, our owners who even buy the Supreme Court, ordered to put in the quantitative easing that he knew did not work. Bernanke knew, it's right in the paper, he didn't work. It didn't work. He knew it. Now, we've got the market up 212 points. Now, remember, I told you after we had the correction in the market, and I told my gang, and that's why it's so important for you, please, to subscribe to my gang. I told them they're going to try to run this market back up. And they're going to run it right back up to what we call the 200-day moving average. And I said they'll hit it, and they hit it today. So that means the market came down 14%. and we sold short. Then the market went from 181 up to where it is today at 202. That's 181 to 202. So that's about 11%. So we went down 14%. Now they're coming back up 11%. But it's going up 11%, not because of earnings. Let's think about this for a moment. The earnings are negative. We have negative earnings. We just got the numbers from the last quarter, 2015, and now the first quarter that we're in, the earnings are even going to be worse. They're negative. Sales. There's hardly any sales. Margins, terrible. Sales, terrible. Companies are still cutting. They're not spending. It's incredible. So the market has been going up on what we call a short covering rally. And the market is being financially engineered to go up without a company having to increase their sales, increase their margins, increase their earnings. That's why it's so important for you to stay away from fundamentals of a company. Anybody that you go to, their money manager, whatever, they talk about fundamentals. You're always going to be wrong. You're always going to be losing money. Now, this rally, again, remember, I told my gang to sell short. We got 14% on the way down. Now we're up about 10% of the 11%. Now, what's wrong with that? Nothing. And don't forget about our gold. Our gold. We started buying gold mining stocks. Beautiful. 104% in one AU. 104%. Copper, 106%. Look, subscribe to my site. Go to philsgang.com, or you can call right now, 877-600-GANG. And we have so many beautiful programs. You start out in the morning, you get coffee talk. I bring you up to date what happened overnight, where I think the market's going to go, and then I go over my bonus stocks. What stocks I think we should watch during the day that I think may do well. Then the class opens at 9:30. It's live. You can take a look at the class. It's archived. Now, all this is archived. You can't do it. But from 9:30 to 11 o'clock, it's live. And you can email in, ask questions. We take our stocks. We go through them. We tell you why we're buying a stock or why we're selling a stock short. And then we start with our updates all day long. Updates all day long. And then at the end, after the radio show, I do another update. I do what we call market rep. Nobody does that for $49.95. And one of the best programs is the Working Investor Program, and where you can participate. The Spiders, where you have a basket of 500 stocks. Cost is almost nothing. 500 beautiful stocks, the best stocks in the world. And you have a personal coach. Nothing more beautiful than the Spiders. And as I told you, when they dropped 14%, we're the first ones that said they were going to drop back in May, then in July. That was a 14% return. Now they're on their way back up. They're up about 11%. We're up about 10% of it. What a beautiful program. Beautiful program. So go to my site, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-GANG. And right now, once again, Denise will be there, or Steve, and they'll pick up your call, okay? Now, remember, I want you to subscribe because we're starting now. We're starting to invest in shipping companies. That's right, shipping companies. They've been destroyed. This could be another opportunity like our gold and our refiners. So subscribe now, philsgang.com. We'll be right back, 28 past the hour.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
We're on our best 2-year job creation streak in 20 years.
What are you, nuts? Who'd believe that? Let me tell you the truth. First of all, the 292,000 jobs we got in December 2015, and they told us the unemployment rate is 5%. Not true. You can't trust these people on Wall Street. You can't trust the press. What they don't count is, in December, for example, the 615,000 discouraged workers. A discouraged worker is a person unemployed, gave up looking for work, but this administration does not count them as unemployed. when calculating a 5% unemployment rate. Instead, they classify the scourge as marginally attached to the labor force, but they're not considered part of the labor force or part of the employment. That's why you can't trust what they tell you. If we back into 625,000, the real unemployment rate is 12%, not 5%. That's why you got to join my gang, where you get the truth and where we use charts. Join the gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, my name is Phil Grande at philsgang.com. The 401k big lie. They tell you invest $10,000 a year for 30 years, compounded at 6% annually. You will have a grand total of $245,000 to retire. That is not true. That is not the truth. What they don't tell you is the hidden fees. There's 27 hidden fees in your 401k. When you're all done, you lose half of what you put aside for your retirement. That's right, half. And another thing, you're not allowed to do individual stocks in a mutual fund. And you're not allowed to make money when stocks go down. That's ridiculous. Would you buy a car with just forward and no reverse? Why would you ever be in a fund that you can't make money when the stock market goes down? Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, my name is Phil Grande at philsgang.com. The 401k big lie. They tell you invest $10,000 a year for 30 years, compounded at 6% annually. You will have a grand total of $245,000 to retire. That is not true. That is not the truth. What they don't tell you is the hidden fees. There's 27 hidden fees in your 401k. When you're all done, you lose half of what you put aside for your retirement. That's right, half. And another thing, you're not allowed to do individual stocks in a mutual fund. And you're not allowed to make money when stocks go down. That's ridiculous. Would you buy a car with just forward and no reverse? Why would you ever be in a fund that you can't make money when the stock market goes down? Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. There is only one talk show host, Phil Grande, who delivers both social and financial talk. Not even Hannity or Rush can deliver a 1-2 punch like that. That's Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Phil Grande is unique, the industry leader, the first talk show host ever to combine social issues and finance into winning stock market ideas. That's Phil Grande, philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Listen to what Fisher said, the former Fed governor.
We front-loaded at the Federal Reserve an enormous rally in order to accomplish the wealth effect.
That's right. Did you hear that? They took the stock market, front-loaded it, ran at 200%, so we ended up not only with a fake stock market, but fake GDP, fake money, fake jobs, fake prices, fake everything. But we took advantage of that, and we're going to take advantage again. That's why I told my gang in May to short the market. On 5/29, that's May 29th, I'm telling you to short the stock market. And we were right. And the market went down over 11%. That's why you got to join my gang and learn how to short stocks just as much as buying them. Learn how to short with me, Phil Grande at philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. What is Phil's Gang? Philsgang.com is a subscription website service that host Phil Grande has been teaching and providing daily stock investment recommendations for over 15 years, all in the name of making its customers educated investors and helping the kids at St. Jude's Children's Hospital. If you want to take charge of your financial future, then do not wait any longer. For only $49.95, become a Phil's Gang member today. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back to Phil's Gang Radio Show. For more information, simply go to philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
One of the biggest problems the banks are facing, including Barclays, is low interest rates at this point. That's really putting downward pressure on profitability.
Oh, yeah, low interest rates. Let's talk about these low interest rates. Welcome back to Phil's Gang. Welcome back. And let me remind you again, please subscribe to my site. You can go to www.philsgang.com, or you can call right now, 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-GANG. Wonderful programs. We have one special program that is so terrific because it's about the folks who have no time to do anything. They just don't have the time. It's a perfect program. And it's our working investor program. It's designed for people who say, I just don't have any time. I want you to do everything for me. I just want to make money. And it's a beautiful program. So, and not only that program, again, you got all the programs. But that, to me, is a great program. Okay. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the banks, and we got to feel sorry for the banks because the banks, they're not making much money. The banks, the hedge funds, really. You mean the banks, the hedge funds that are owned by the donor party, the ones who buy the election, the one who decides who's going to be our president? You know, the donor party, these donors, they make up, remember, 158 richest families. That's right. These donors, the donor party you hear all about, is made up of 158 very wealthy families, the richest families in the United States. They provide 3/4 of the money to buy the White House, to buy the election. They've already contributed $176 million in the first phase of purchasing the White House. That's right. It's 158 richest families. They're the ones who set the interest rates. Remember that. They're the ones who run the hedge funds. They make the decisions. They're the ones who goes into Congress and tell the legislators what laws they want to make to benefit themselves. So let's not feel sorry for the banks. Let's not feel sorry for the banks. Let's feel sorry for the saver who gets 0.6%, $6 of interest annually for every $1,000 in the bank. Let's feel sorry for them. See, the banks lend our money out to these big corporations, these hedge funds, and they don't feel sorry because they make a lot of money. Take J.P. Morgan. They have more than $2 trillion of our money on deposit. And J.P. Morgan pays me $6 annually for every $1,000 I have in their bank? Are you nuts? And then it lends out and collects 7% in annual interest, or $70 on that same $1,000 when it lends it out. $70? That's an annual profit of $64 for the bank. J.P. Morgan Chase made a record pre-tax income of $30 billion. They don't put the money back in the community. Go try to get a mortgage. Now, guess who the biggest borrower is? The U.S. federal government, the Congress. Now, our national debt is $20 trillion. That's about $59,000 for every person in this country. I wish they would send a bill out and say you got to pay it in 30 days. Then we'd have a revolt. This zero policy is there for many reasons. The two main reasons is to take care of the donor party, the very wealthy, who run the hedge funds, who run the banks. This zero policy is there so that the Federal Reserve, the federal government, can borrow money at almost zero interest. So their budget, their deficits are lower than they otherwise should be. And they're killing you and killing me. You don't have jobs because of 0%. Because of low rates, you lost your full-time job to a part-time job because of these low rates. So the hedge funds, the banks, and the government, they're taking care of themselves with the fix. The fix is in with these low rates, and they take care of themselves, but they don't take care of America. 95% of the people who work make $50,000 a year, and most of them don't make that because they're on part-time work. Because our economy's not growing, because we're keeping rates at 0% to take care of the government, take care of the hedge funds, take care of the bankers, and they're the ones who decide who is going to be our nominee. They're the one. 158 families, that's right. They tell us, what are you, nuts? How come we can't get any of this money near zero? Look at the interest rates on credit cards, 13%, 15%. Look at cars, mortgages. Are you kidding? Don't feel sorry for them. The Federal Reserve is a private company, remember, owned by the donor party. Remember, we used to always think that we had a Democrat Party, a Republican Party. Now we're learning we got the Democrat Party, the Republican Party, and the donor party, a whole different party. But they're the real bad guys. Now let's talk about QE for a minute. Now, what happened to oil? Remember, they're telling us how oil is connected to the market. And every day, remember, every day, if oil goes up, they tell us the market goes up. If oil goes down, the market goes down. Well, what happened to that? That's not happening anymore. Now they're telling us, oh, oil's fine. Oil's up now, around $38. Oh, we're fine now. The oil patch is fine. The companies are patched. Everything's good. And now it's not connected anymore. Oh, it's not connected anymore? No. It's unbelievable. Now they're celebrating quantitative easing and the market's up 200 points. And what scares me is people are starting to jump in now. If they were a gang member, you would have shorted it first, made 14%, and then you'd be up 6%. Or I'm sorry, you'd be up about 8%, 9% right now. More than that, actually. But my point is that you're going to start getting in now because you're going to hear all this jibber jabber about, well, this is it. You know, here's what's really funny. Draghi lied to his people like Bernanke lied to us, created a fairy tale. Bernanke gave us a fairy tale. Bernanke gave his people a fairy tale. They said yesterday, Bernanke says, or Draghi says, we're going to print money to buy treasuries so the interest rate will drop. The yield will drop. Shifting countries or individuals who buy treasuries at bonds out of treasuries and bonds to the stock market. That will cause stock prices of these companies to accelerate without having to have sales or have increased earnings or increased profits. The stocks are going to soar. This will give business enough confidence, he said yesterday, to increase capital expenditures, i.e. the purchase of information technology, office equipment, computer equipment, vehicles. This will increase the wages of those people already working in these plants. Then it will increase jobs. And then with these higher wages and these new jobs, that will result in demand, consumption, spending. Isn't this a wonderful thing, he said. We've been doing this for 7 years and none of that happened. Let me tell you what happened. Increase in stock prices, give business enough confidence to increase capital expenditures? What a lie. For 7 years, that doesn't happen. The increase in confidence never happened because the stock prices went up because it's a bubble. They went up because they were financially engineered. Zero rate, all they did is speculate. There was no increased sales, no increased margins, no increased profits to move those stock prices up. It's all fake. Nobody had confidence. That's why they're not buying capital goods. That's why they didn't buy any capital goods in the last 7 years. There's been no increase in capital expenditures in the last 7 years. In fact, as of today, capital spending is at lowest levels since 2011. Companies are cutting expenditures because of the weak global economy, especially China, which is a house of clouds. So let's talk about wages. They said, oh, it was going to increase wages. Really? Never increased. Wages decelerated. In fact, the last quarter, 2015, we just got the numbers out. They came out last Friday. Remember, they showed wages decreasing. Since the beginning of QE, wages and salaries for U.S. workers had the smallest quarterly gain since 1982. Ages of 18 to 34 are earning less today than when we started with QE. Since the beginning of the QE, the net worth of those 45 to 54 has plunged by 28%. And manufacturing jobs have dropped 10.8% since we started QE. What the hell are they talking about? But he went out there yesterday, Draghi, and lied, just like Bernanke. And Bernanke, by the way, had a paper that said the study in Japan, it didn't work. So let's think about it. Wages, they told us, are going to increase because stock prices went up because all they did is create a bubble. And 18 and 30, between the ages of 18 and 34, they're earning less today than at the start of QE. What a bunch of nonsense. Join my gang. Subscribe right now. Perfect program for you.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, it's been 7 years now since Obama ordered his Fed chairman to lower the savings rate from 5% to less than 0.25%. With the false narrative, it would spur economic growth and jobs. Everyone would have an opportunity in this economy. That's what he said. But what it spurred was a front loading of the biggest fake, unsustainable stock market rally of 200%. That's what it spurred. Now, most people did not participate in that rally because people got out of their 401k in 2009 and they said, just get me out. I want nothing but fixed income. And they got killed because with low interest rates, fixed incomes get murdered. You got to know what you're doing. If you're going to really retire, you got to be associated with the stock market. That's why you come to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Time is the one thing that we want more of. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey. They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Everybody was asking me, how did I know to short forward when it was November? And it was when Aunt B was telling us everything was fine. Well, what people didn't know is Aunt B was lying to us. Because when she was raising the rates, machinery sales were down 5.6%, computers were down 8.7%, communication equipment sales down 21%. I took a look at our chart and I saw that institutions were pulling money out of Ford. So we said, let's short Ford. And we did that in November, on November 10th, because my charts told me there was a big sell signal, and we took advantage of it. And you know that stock Ford has now dropped 17%. That's the return my gang has now, 17%. Don't follow any of the jibber-jabber from CNBC or the Fed. Follow me, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. I'm here to help you. I'm tired, and you should be tired, of listening to these financial shows like CNBC where they're all geniuses and they're always wrong. Look, stop worrying about the price to book and the price to sales and all the stuff they tell you think you need to know. You don't need to know any of that. Anybody can make money in the stock market using charts. It's about money flow. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Time is the one thing that we want more of as a St. Jude parent. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey.
El que St. Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow, they pretty much have saved us.
They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
You know, socialism is seen as the panacea by some who don't really understand it. I think a lot of young people think socialism is just being concerned about other people. That's not what it is. You know, it's cradle to grave government, and you let them take care of you, but you give them all of your money. You give them control of your life. They all end up looking the same way. A small group of elites at the top controlling everything, a rapidly diminishing middle class, and a vastly expanded dependent class.
There's Carson saying the same thing I'm saying. There's Carson. He's now endorsed Trump. And he identified what I'm identifying. You have 158 richest families who control who's going to be president, who controls if interest rates are zero, which they kept for 7 years. So to benefit the hedge funds, the banks, who are controlled by the 158 richest families in the country, who already put up $176 million for the very beginning of this election. And they're going to double it and double it until they get their man in, whoever it be. You know, talk about wealth. And I always talk about Walter. Walter Scheer. This man has real wealth, real wealth. I never met somebody so generous as this man. Generous. He put a foundation together that's unbelievable. The Vera and Walter Scheer Family Foundation. They provide resources for people with development disabilities. With disabilities. You wouldn't believe the number of people he sent to college. Takes care of their caretakers. I mean, this guy is incredible. Very seldom in life, if you're lucky, you maybe in your whole life find 3 people that you can really call a friend. Or somebody who you can really just trust, and I mean, it's very rare. And this man is that man, and he was so generous. He writes this book, and he says, I'm going to sell this book. I want nothing. He says, we'll split it with St. Jude's, and we'll split it with my family foundation. And this book is a terrific book. I'm not just saying it. It is. Here's a man who started out in life. The book's incredible. He had tuberculosis. He spent years, 7 years. They thought he was going to die in some of the worst. You don't even call them hospitals. They're asylums. They're just worse. I mean, they're just like Alcatraz. They're even worse than Alcatraz. Horrible, filthy, terrible places. Horrible. And he lived through that. Then he gets out and he's self-made. He started work at a little luncheonette, dispensing ice cream and soda. He went to college at night. No college loan for him. He had a tip jar. He filled it up. He went to night school. He comes out of school. He ends up being called on by General MacArthur to serve his country. Admiral Rickover. Are you kidding? This is a guy that's supposed to die in a hospital. And right now, he's 92. He has more energy than I have. He was a founding member of 5 multinational companies. Now, that may not sound like much. Are you kidding? Trump can't even match that. Not any of the people running for president can match. This is the man you need for president. We lose him, we're gonna. It's it. I mean, it's like that era is gone. He went to one of Otisville. Anybody ever hear of Otisville? You got to read about it in the book. That's where he had to go with TB. They put you in there like you're dying, and they thought you were going to die, and it's awful. But he came out, and are you kidding me? He started a company, the Visual Sciences. That's where you got your fax machine fund. Yeah, fax machine. That's him. That's Walter. And then we sleep at night. Because without Walter, there'd be no Polaris nuclear submarine program. No guidance system to guide the missiles. That's him. Every missile that takes off, that's him. The guidance of that missile. So you sleep better at night, know that somebody hits that button, that missile's going to go where it's supposed to go. It doesn't do loopy-loops in the air. That's because of Walter. Please pick this book up. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Or go to waltersway.org. Fantastic. The stories are incredible. We've been duped. Obama had no choice. Much as I don't like Obama, he has no choice. He had to fill his pledge to the donors, the people who bought the White House, who bought the Oval Office for him. He had to make a pledge to the 158 richest families in the United States, who, as I say, already provided 3/4 of money to this election. $176 million already spent. That's chump change. Now, we're talking about the very, very rich who want to get richer. We're talking, these donors are Google's Eric Schmidt, Facebook's Mark Zuckerman, Tom Steyer, George Soros, Warren Buffett, on and on. Their wealth is tied to the stock market. And when Obama, right after 9/11, when Obama won the election, Remember, these guys financially engineered it for him. They financially engineered the outcome of the election. And he had to keep his pledge. They said, look, I want you to go in there and do quantitative easing. Quantitative easing, one of the biggest shams in the world. We're going to drop interest rates down to nothing, and that's going to take care of the government so the government can keep borrowing money at near zero, so they keep their deficits down, all fake. Why do you think we've been at zero or near zero for 7 years? Do you think it'd take that long? Because that's how they keep their deficits down. Then Obama goes, look at the deficits, they're down. I'm dropping the deficit. Anybody could drop it. Anybody could drop the deficits. This is amazing. It's crazy. So these donors, the rich donors, the donor party, they're buying the White House, the president. They're also buying the Supreme Court. Matter of fact, when they bought the Supreme Court, remember what they did? As part of the pledge, Obama or whoever becomes president has to pledge to them and say, yes, you're buying me, but I'm also going to make sure I appoint to the Supreme Court those who share the same values and interests, not of the American people, but of you, the rich donors of the 158 families. See, that's why they want to control who becomes president, because when you control who becomes president, you control who's going to be on the Supreme Court. And remember, it was the wealthy who made the Supreme Court. Make sure there was no limits. Do you remember the big battle in 2010? There was a push to limit contributions by the rich donor party. It was Justice Clarence Thomas. He provided that crucial fifth vote for overturning the limits. So these rich donors now, they can give whatever they want. So the very 1%, the very, very wealthy, they decide who's going to be our president, not us. So they control who's going to be on the Supreme Court. That's what makes me sick. I mean, that's more important than paring back regulations for them, cutting taxes for them, cutting tax on income or capital gains or inheritance or shrink entitlement. They don't care about that. They want to have the power to say, here's who's going to be on the Supreme Court. Because once you appoint someone to the Supreme Court, they're there for years. Once they buy that office, the Oval Office, it includes the justices. Remember that. So look, here's what I want you to do. This weekend, order this book, Walter's Way, and I want you to join my gang. Nobody gives the amount of services that I give. Nobody. For $49.95, are you kidding me? I mean, who else? Look, I'm not making this up. When I told you when this market was going to correct, the S&P 500 stocks, the spiders, and they dropped 14%. That was a wonderful correction. My members caught that correction. Now it's going back the other way, but it's not going to hold. It's up about 10%. We have about 8-9% of it. And when it's ready to go back, and it will, because this market's going to drop 20-30%. Oh, it will. We will be there. But I want you to sleep at night. I want you to sleep at night. You never again have to worry about, I'm in the market and the market's going to crash. So I'm going to take my money and I'm going to give it to somebody to manage for me. Are you kidding? What are they going to do with it? Except lose money for you. Why do they care about your money? They don't get paid based on performance. They don't. Join my gang. 877-600-GANG. Call right now. 877-600-GANG. And remember, Walter's Way. WaltersWay.org. An incredible book.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grande, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It's up to me.